Hey, you guys, Happy New Year. It's your girl Kamika, and we're here to do the first Friday facts of the 2020 New Year. And what are we discussing today? Protein sensitivity. So stick with me, I'll be right back. All right, you guys. So, protein sensitivity. I can sense the eyebrows going up for those of you that are not initiated. And for those of you that are initiated, meaning you've heard this term over and over again in the natural hair community, protein sensitivity has come to be described as the experiencing of brittle and dry hair after the application of protein or a product with protein in it directly to the hair. And usually this causes one to have an aversion to using any products that have protein in it from that point forward because of the dry and brittleness that the product has caused on their hair. But protein sensitivity, unfortunately, really is a term that describes a sensitivity or an allergen to the scalp. So y'all know I'm here to bust the myths, right? Okay. So with the scalp can be protein sensitive because the scalp is still alive, whereas hair is not. Hair is just dead keratin. It is keratin, which is a protein, and it's stacked on itself as it grows out of your hair, out of the your hair follicle, but it's not living anymore. But the scalp, though, can be allergic to various types of protein. And you'll see that usually with a reddening or a tenderness, often called erythema, and you'll see it with blisters in the scalp. That's protein sensitivity, but hair in itself is not protein sensitive. So let me back up a little bit and tell you very quickly what protein is. Protein is the building block of all life forms on the earth. There are millions of different proteins, but all millions of them are made up of only 20 building blocks. They're called amino acids. There are 20 amino acids that arranged in various ways gives us the millions of different proteins. And that also includes our protein, which is our hair protein, which is made up of keratin. All right. So when we add protein to our hair care products, as a product manufacturer, I add them in for two reasons. One, to help maintain the luster and the strength and the elasticity of my hair or your hair, of hair in general, and also to help to maintain its integrity and its fiber. I would say to help make it healthy. That's an easier way of saying it, but hair is dead. So it does help to maintain its health, but the health that it had when it came out of the scalp. The second reason that I add proteins into products is to give you a conditioning agent. Uncommonly known to many people is protein isn't just for strengthening. It's also used to bring conditioning effects and to bind water to the hair strand. So a lot of times when people are avoiding proteins and they're wondering why their hair is staying dry, it's because you're avoiding the proteins, water isn't binding to your hair as effectively as it could, and your hair is becoming dry and brittle from just simply avoiding a good quality protein into your regimen. So we want to talk very quickly about the different proteins, but if you really want some good detailed reading, I made it easy, right? You need to go on over to our lovemakeba.com website, and down at the bottom in the footer it says Makeba blog. Pull up the blog and you will see an extensive post that I just wrote today called is protein sensitivity a real thing, or is it really a thing? Something along those lines. And in it, I give you a lot of details about what protein is, protein sensitivity, how to select the proteins for your healthy hair care regimen. Because really, when it comes to protein sensitivity and the myth, the boogeyman that it is, it's really about dispelling the myth and shining light on this boogeyman and giving you the effective keys to be able to pick the protein that is going to work for you and your hair care and allow your hair to thrive and to quit breaking and to be less brittle, to also be less mushy. You'll retain a lot more hair if you start incorporating protein into your healthy hair care regimen and creating a very good moisture protein balance, because that's really all we're trying to do with hair care in general is, one, make it look good, and number two, really create that nice healthy protein moisture protein hydration balance. That's all we're trying to do, right? So we know what protein sensitivity is, we know what protein is. Very quickly, what should we be doing to make sure that we are not protein sensitive? Reading the back of your products, testing out products, weeding out products that have proteins in them that your hair doesn't like. It's just as simple as that. You need protein. Everyone needs protein, regardless of their porosity, regardless of their texture, which is the thickness of their hair strand, regardless of their style, regardless of their color. Everyone needs protein in their regimen. But the frequency, the size, and the type of protein you add is what is going to be as different as you are from the next individual. It's as different as what proteins you're able to tolerate in your body. So let's very quickly go over the 3 types of proteins that you should be looking for in your products to make sure you're getting the most out of them. Shampoos, conditioners, let me just drop this in here. Shampoos, conditioners, gels, leave-in conditioners, all of them have proteins in them unless they are protein-free. But you got to look at the packaging to know. So you're going to be looking for, number 1, hydrolyzed proteins. Through the process of hydrolysis, water has been used to break down bigger protein molecules into smaller molecules that your body can better use. And so when you're looking at the back of a package, look for things like hydrolyzed wheat, hydrolyzed silk, hydrolyzed oat, hydrolyzed quinoa. These are larger protein molecules that have been broken down so that they are available for utilization on your hair. But your hair may not like all of them. So you're going to have to test and see them, try them out to see which ones work for your hair. The second ones you're going to want to look for are essential amino acids. Of those 20 amino acids, only 9 are what are considered essential and are not created by your body. You get them from the things that you eat. Labs have now begun to synthesize them, and you can now find them in products as well. But you need to be aware of those essential amino acids. They'll have names with the INE at the end of them, like phenylalanine, threonine. Tryptophan is the one that's slightly different. You often get that from turkey. Valine, histidine. Look for things like that because those are proteins. And then lastly, something that is often overlooked, but I hear it all the time, but people haven't, I'm giving you the key to put the 2 and 2 together. Oilseed proteins. Oilseed, just like it sounds, proteins from oil seeds. So we love our castor oils, our avocado oils, our coconut oils, all of those great oils. But they all have proteins in them. They have plant proteins in them that can give you the same effect that an animal protein or any other kind of protein can give you. You have to be careful or just remember that as a consumer, you don't know if me or my colleagues as product manufacturers are using refined or unrefined oils. And so in our products, we don't necessarily always tell you. So you should always assume that all of the oils that you're finding in your favorite products are unrefined. And so therefore, they still retain the protein. Refined oils, depending on the type of refinery or refining that is done, usually have the protein stripped from them, refined out of them, but you still wouldn't know as a consumer. So you always have to assume that oils have proteins still in them. Now, I'm going to wrap this up really quickly, and you may say, but Kamika, why is that important, and how do I determine what works for me? Once again, it's trial and error. And I'm going to give you 2 things to also consider when you're creating your regimen. The first one is we list products in order of percentage of ingredient in a product. So if you are using a shampoo and a conditioner and a gel and you look at them and you see that they all have proteins and they're closer to the end of the list, then they have a lot less protein in them, but you still have to watch out and make sure you're not stacking them on top of each other and still causing problems. The second one you want to look for is a protein-rich product, which is usually an intensive product that tells you that it will stop breakage immediately or will strengthen your hair immediately. You'll usually find the proteins in the first 5 ingredients on that product. So you have to look at that and be careful. You don't want to use an intensive product when your hair just needs a little bit of protein added into a normal regimen. And you don't want to use a too light when your hair really needs some structural integrity added back into it. So I'm going to stop this Friday Fact here. Be sure to go over to our website, lovemakeba.com. Check out our Makeba blog, and where I will give you way more details about different proteins, how to look at them, how to test them, all those other great details. But go over there and check that out. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would rate, comment, and subscribe, and share this with those that are in your circle, your colleagues, whomever. And I would love it if you would follow us on all of our social medias. We're very active on Instagram and Facebook, and of course here YouTube, and occasionally on Twitter. I don't really talk on Twitter, but follow us. But we appreciate you, and we can't wait to share more information with you in the future. Love you much. Mwah.